Chapter 81. The Theory. Legends of the Frozen Game Book 2. Act 3. Date 3038-0. Second quarter. Iron Confederacy borders. Asena took one step back, mouth sizzling with low growl that rumbled through her chest like distant thunder. Her patience was clearly running thin with this tense situation. The giant wolf's muscles coiled ready to spring into action at the slightest provocation. Demir turned to the beast smiling, despite the tension crackling in the air. He raised one hand slowly, palm out, in a calming gesture.
Easy, girl. Easy, girl.
Then he turned back to Lex and his group, keeping his voice steady.
They are friends.
This situation created a unique opportunity, a look at high-level players and their gear, something Demir couldn't pass up. He quickly produced Marco's special glasses, sliding them on subtly as if they'd always been there after taking his helmet off. The weight of them felt reassuring on his nose. Demir took a couple steps toward the old man and offered his sword.
Could you look at this? I made it from Ori Chalcom. Master said I'd be wasting the material with my current experience, but I needed something powerful. Learning up to this point took almost 5 months.
While their focus shifted to the blade, Demir assessed the odd group's gear through the glasses. The information flooded his vision. Bunny and the Shadowborn were wearing mostly a grade gear. Each piece had amazing unique skills or overpowered resistances that made Demir's equipment look like training gear. But the old man was something else entirely. Cover to cover, he was wearing S-grade gear with insane stats and skill effects that defied belief. Then his eyes fell on a grade he'd never seen or heard of before. The bike. One of a kind rumored to be handcrafted by the game designer himself. Creator's Wings. SSR grade. Durability 60934 out of 1000. Repairable. Demir couldn't mask his excitement, admiration mixing with pure awe. The words slipped from his mouth unbidden.
Flacco. Wow.
Lex raised his head with confused demeanor, one eyebrow arching.
You said you started smithing 5 months ago. How did you gain levels?
That is the thing. I don't think I did.
Demir's area of expertise came to the table now. It was his time to show off.
I am sure you get interference on your vision from time to time, especially when doing something new. It is like a broken broadcast less than a second. My theory is nanites in our body want to show that immediate outcome, but new game rules are blocking it in an instant.
He made a hand gesture, trying to visualize the flicker when they got that telltale sensation. His fingers traced patterns in the air. Lex bowed his head in thoughtful process, cigar smoke wreathing around him.
I don't think so.
Then he scratched his head, beard rustling. After a couple seconds, his eyes widened with recognition.
Wait. I did get 1 or 2 after the game closed. It happened when I started cooking. I never cooked before the game closed. I was always buying from markets.
Demir gleamed with revelation, excitement making his words come faster.
Just like I thought.
What is it?
The overgrown bunny, nearly a meter tall, was pulling at Lex's cloak with insistent paws.
Let's go already.
What is your hurry? Just wait.
Lex, waving Snowflake off. Snowflake sighed with obvious exhaustion, ears drooping.
He is not a pet, by the way. He is Rabitkin, grand-grandson of my companion from way, way before.
I never met one before.
Studying the unusual creature with interest.
Well, he might be the only one left.
Lex's voice carried sadness.
We don't know that exactly.
Voice squeaky but defiant.
You were saying about interference.
So since you played a system based on levels of professions, doing anything gained XP, right?
Like the majority of games.
I think when they closed leveling, they didn't close the system giving locals their magical abilities.
You mean NPCs?
Locals. Yes.
Demir looked at Ember the Shadowborn.
I don't care what you call me. I know what I am.
These are million-year-old terms, not curses.
Anyway, like me, low-level zone players, new starters. When we do something repeatedly, we get that bzzz, the screen flicker of some sort. I think those are the games saying you gained something.
He was getting animated now, hands moving, as he explained.
Like I hunted to survive for a year. It happened. When I started mining, it happened a week later. When I started smithing, we made a bet of swinging 10,000 times. I gained that title the second after that.
If it is not levels, then
Trailing off, seeing where this was going,
Titles. You're gaining titles just like we do, but without actually gaining levels or stat points. What would be the meaning?
So you people gain levels with progress.
We do gain levels. We just can't distribute stats like you did. Also, we don't have unlimited potential. Everything is set the day we're born unless you have one of these.
he pulled out a diamond-shaped stone that caught the light, refracting it into rainbow patterns.
What is that?
This is called a witness stone.
players used to use it to try different builds. Now I think the Covenant is making these to power their mass-produced meatheads.
Hey, those are my brothers and sisters.
Come on, let's not get into this debate again.
Okay. So what I am saying is, we cannot gain proficiency levels like older players, but we can get titles to progress by learning from master locals. We can be anything but with low stats.
But I think this murder hobo has level 90 trading. You can't find this level of title NPC to teach you.
What are you trying to say?
You maybe find good teachers of crafting, but can you find a mithrite or heck a legendary artisan to teach you to craft these gears?
He gestured at Lex's S-tier equipment, the metal gleaming with power.
Yeah, we grinded our levels over years sometimes without guidance from an NPC. We upgraded our levels with the push of a button and unlocked wonders of the game.
I guess as low levelers, we have to find a way. Or how else am I going to reach my friend? Force open the game and get out?
Demir's voice carried determination born from desperation. Lex studied him for a long moment. Then the slow smile spread across his weathered face.
You know, Demir, I like you.
He hopped off from the bike and opened a trunk mounted on the side.
That pommel you have is useless.
He pulled out a sword, examining it briefly before removing the handle and pommel.
I don't use this sword other than its unique skill, so I don't need its pommel. Let's exchange ours.
Lex rummaged deeper in his trunk.
And take this knife, but it requires at least level 50 gravity spells. Don't know about the titles. And take this bracer. It gives insane agility, makes you dodge incoming attacks.
He poked his head out from the trunk.
Your armor doesn't have any rune slots, and I don't have any vitality stones to fit your build, but if you make any agility runes, use this to mount them. Also, take these knives. We don't need them anymore.
Hey, don't give them my knives.
Shut up, you have plenty.
Lex stuffed everything into a satchel and handed it to Demir. Demir was puzzled, overwhelmed by the generosity.
Thank you, sir.
No need. Make sure to come to the Player City Parthenon. It is north of Akshar. But be careful. That desert and the people of Akshar are dangerous.
Thanks again. Our town is right behind that forest, maybe half a day's distance. It doesn't have a name, I think. Or, I don't know yet.
Lex chuckled.
That's funny. I hope to see you again, alive and well. Take care. I will tell my wandering friends to pay a visit to your town.
He kicked the dragonic bike to life. Fire and red colors filled the machine as it started to hover from the ground. Flames puffed out from the handles, heat washing over Demir in waves. Lex twisted the handles. The bike reached enormous speed, lost from their eyes in seconds, leaving only a trail of smoke and the echo of its roar. Demir smiled at Asina.
Let's go, girl.
He walked the whole day, mind churning with the knowledge that Aris was alive and making moves in this world.
Infiltrating a zealot country. I didn't know you had balls, Aris. Good job.
He said to himself, grinning despite his exhaustion. By nightfall, he spotted dark fumes, indicating he was near the town. He didn't stop for rest. He forced himself onward. Thanks to his new gear, he was faster and had more stamina to burn. When he reached the hidden gates, he knocked firmly.
Demir Stroven here. Please open up.
One of the guards cheered from above.
You're the crafter fellow. Welcome, Demir. Where were you? What is that?
The guard was pointing at the giant wolf standing behind him, golden eyes glowing in the darkness. Chapter 82. Safe Hollow. Legends of the Frozen Game Book 2, Act 3. Date: 33480. Second quarter. Iron Confederacy border. Iron Confederacy border. Human settlement. Demir was walking through narrow town roads with Asina padding beside him. Everyone stopped to stare with wide eyes. Whispers spread like wildfire through the settlement. Children pointed. Adults grabbed weapons instinctively before recognizing Demir. Celine rushed over her mage robes, swirling around her.
I am glad you are alive. They said you left the expedition.
Then her eyes locked on Asina, widening with shock.
What's with the wolf?
Voice pitched high with disbelief.
Thanks, Salim. She is Asina. I freed her from the Goblin Chief and apparently started a taming storyline.
He said it casually, as if giant spirit wolves followed people home all the time. Marco and Sin joined moments later, pushing through the small crowd that had gathered. Asina was getting grumpy, the attention clearly bothering her. She howled sharp and irritated, turning left and right as more people approached. Finally, she'd had enough. With a powerful leap, she bounded over the town walls and disappeared into the forest darkness.
Why was that thing here?
Marco asked, adjusting his glasses nervously.
Long story. I'll tell it later.
Okay, welcome back to Safe Hollow. Celine put a name to the town. That shield looks sick, by the way. Right, Sin?
Marco gestured around at the settlement.
Yeah, you really got better at this smithing thing.
Studying the wyvern-scaled surface, Timmy was walking with a huntress, both carrying herb sacks. They were apparently returning from foraging and gathering materials. When he saw Demir, he gave all his stuff to his companions and ran toward his old group, face breaking into a huge grin.
Oh, thank God you are alive and in one piece. Sim kept saying a giant wolf was following you.
Yeah, she was. She was here moments ago.
Did you tame her?
Timmy's eyes were wide with curiosity.
No. I'm not sure it can be done. She is so powerful. One day, I saw wyvern wings stuck in her mouth. I traded the wing for fresh meat. Later, me and Brovik added the scales to my shield.
Demir transformed into an excited teenager when talking with his peers. He suddenly forgot he was stuck in a death game and started enjoying the conversation, the camaraderie he'd missed.
Looks good, but does it do anything?
Ever practical.
Come on, let's get to our hut. We made a good house with the knowledge of buff stacking. Come, let's eat and get some rest first.
Good idea.
They headed to the new hut area built for newcomers from the mines. Marco and other survivors of slavery had built 4 huts for themselves. The structures were simple but sturdy, proof that even without proper tools, determination could build shelter. While they ate what they'd gathered from the woods around and grilled chicken over the fire, they laughed. Demir told them about the journey, the rivalry with the giant wolf Asina, how she kept showing off with bigger and bigger kills. He told them about crafting new gear, and most importantly, meeting with a high leveler and getting news of his old friend. Demir pulled out the satchel of items Lex gave him and laid everything out on the ground. The firelight gleamed off metal and stone.
Thanks, man. Without these, I wouldn't know if I progressed or not. You want to take a look at the goodies?
Demir offered the glasses back to Marco.
They're yours now. Keep them.
Marco pushed Demir's hand back gently. Demir nodded with respect.
Thank you, man.
He wore the glasses and started assessing the amazing knife set Lex gave. Each blade had unique properties, different weights and balances.
None of us have an assassin build, but he did so. He had so many excess knives. Pick what you like, but I think there was one he said requires a mage profession.
Dagger of the Fall. Dagger, a grade. Durability, 30/80 out of 500. Repairable. Rune of Swiftness, plus 10% agility, plus 110% to physical damage, tier 5. Skill, return. User can call it back to hand. Requires Magus title.
This is the one, Marco. It is A grade, but doesn't have stat bonuses like mine.
Player-crafted ones are really superior to old game loot items. I didn't know that.
Out of all people, you should have known that, old man.
Kya, Sin teased.
This has a return skill. If you have the Magus title, you can call it back to you.
Like Mjolnir?
Marco's eyes lit up with recognition.
I guess. But you need to get titles by practicing and passing your current level, I think.
I will try. Thanks, Demir.
Demir looked at all the other knives. Others were B grade and didn't have any magical skills. They all had classic dagger abilities like backstab or silent lunge. He distributed them among the group, making sure everyone got something useful.
Don't worry, guys. I learned so much. I think I can make better armor now. I will start making gear for you first.
He said to Sin and Timmy, who were still wearing Demir's first experiments. Then he turned back to the bracers and the agility stone, examining them carefully. Agility. Bracers B grade. Durability 200 out of 500. Repairable, plus 200 to Agility Tier 5, plus 5 to Stamina Tier 8. Stone of Swiftness, B grade, plus 20, Agility Tier 5, null before attachment. Attachable, weapons or armor.
Wow.
What is it?
Marco leaned over.
I will get plus 40 agility with these. I will be fast as a hound.
If these are throwaway items for him, how fast is the guy who gave them to you?
If he is 98, like he said, they were like walking gods, clashing with dragons. It was a whole different game at that level. As a tester, I tried high levels, but their minds work differently. There are thousands of skills, spells, items to combine. You can't just fight them with what's written on your character sheet. You have to absorb every inch of your build.
Okay, let's leave Demir alone and let him sleep now. I am sure he is tired.
Herding everyone toward the door. After they left, Demir remembered the pommel Lex gave. He unsheathed his sword and looked at what changed the glasses, revealing updated information. Name, Wolf's Vow, or a Chalcom sword. Sword B grade. Durability 580 out of 600. Repairable. Power rune attached, plus 10% force. Tier 5. Power stone attached, plus 10 to force, plus 220% to physical damage. Tier 4, plus 16 to force. Tier 6, plus 6 to stamina. Tier 8. Skill 1, Thunder Edge. Charged attacks release stored energy in an arc, dealing 150% of total attack damage to enemies in a cone. Effect: each successful charged hit increases force by +1 stacks up to +10 until combat ends. Skill 2, Pommel Strike. Critical hits with pommel to opponents knock out the opponent.
Durability increased and pommel strike added. Oh, another force and stamina stat boost. Yes.
Demir grinned in the darkness of his hut, exhaustion finally catching up with him. He lay back on his bedroll, sword carefully placed beside him, and for the first time in weeks felt truly safe. Chapter 83. Progress Check. Legends of the Frozen Game Book 2, Act 3. Date 33480. Second quarter. Chalice Theocracy. The pale dawn light crept through the narrow window of Aris's dorm, washing the cracked ceiling in dull gold. His body ached from practice. Duels, potion fumes, sleepless nights. But his mind hummed with a single thought: how far have I actually come? He sat up, rubbing the grit from his eyes. The exhaustion was bone deep, but curiosity drove him forward.
Fox, can you get Lair's device, the one that shows stats?
He called to the lump under the blanket.
You mean Box made our lives miserable?
The fox grumbled from his warm nest. Aris rolled his eyes.
Haha, that's the one.
With a theatrical sigh, Fox hopped down, padding over to Lyra's corner of the room. He dragged out a spherical relic confined in a pouch.
Here.
Fox dropped it at Aris's feet. Aris pressed his thumb to the engraved sigil. The device hummed to life, warming under his touch. He rolled out the cable and connected it to his temple, wincing at the cold metal. Name: Aris Orvelis. Level: 1, race, human, 10% bonus to all stats. XP, 10 out of 3232 for Odie. In the right corner were titles, glowing faintly. Cantor Healer. 5 Tier 1 healing spell slots, 3 out of 5. 3 Tier 2 spell slots, 1 out of 3. 1 Tier 3 spell slot, 0 out of 1. Plus 10, Manifest, plus 10 Resonance, plus 6, Force plus 4 Agility. Curing Touch. RP points, 6 out of 6 Tier 2. Light Missile RP points, 4 out of 4 Tier 1. Minor Shield RP points, 4 out of 4 Concentration Tier 1. Radiant Mark RP points, 4 out of 4 Effect, 2 minutes Tier 1. Essence Shaper Alchemist, Tier 1 Potion Crafting, Chance 40%. Tier 2 Potion Crafting Chance 24%. Tier 3 Potion Crafting Chance 4%. Plus 5 Endeavor, plus 5 Harvest, plus 2 Ingenuity, plus 2 Attunement. Reader, Step 2 Scholarly Mind, plus 2 Insight. Learning increased 10%. Lucky Apprentice, double each luck-based content. Luck spent 758 out of 1,000. Luck-based content can't be lower than 5%. Blood Initiate, sacrifice your health to gain power. NW points, 12. Reach 100 for local legend. Echo, 4 captured Echo, 3 created Echo, 1.
I think potions and duels gave amazing XP. Plus the second dungeon added a lot after I entered with 0 XP.
Aris mused aloud.
Good thing we have this item. Or else,
Trailing off meaningfully,
Cantor Healer and Essence Shaper titles give good stat bonuses. Still not enough though.
Aris frowned at the numbers. He exhaled slowly, reading the spell slots again.
2. Open Tier 1 2, Tier 2 1 Tier 3. Not bad.
Fox jumped onto the table, peering at the glowing display.
not bad for someone who keeps blowing himself up in a basement.
Aris ignored the jab, mind already planning.
I'm finally close to a real build. I just need to fill those slots strategically.
He shut the device off and stretched. The stiffness in his back reminded him of Rathvoss's brutal training drills. Every muscle protested.
All right, time to find Mizana.
He said, determination settling over him. The academy grounds buzzed with the rhythm of another long day, bells ringing at precise intervals, students rushing between classes, the faint hum of mana everywhere like static electricity before a storm. Aris crossed the marble courtyards, nodding politely to a few who whispered his name. Some spoke with respect, most with mockery. He checked the east classrooms, the chapel annex, the Fey Gardens. But scholar Maizana Silvermeadow was nowhere to be found. Her assistant, a nervous halfling boy, said she'd been called to temple business. Frustrated, Aris leaned against a column, running a hand through his hair. The rough stone was cool against his back.
Lost something, boy?
That gravelly voice came from behind him. Aris turned to see Rathvoss, his Templar instructor. Arms crossed, armor faintly gleaming even in the shaded corridor. The man's presence filled the space like a physical weight.
Sir, I was looking for Mizana. I wanted some guidance.
Aris, straightening reflexively. Rathvoss raised a brow-scarred face, skeptical.
Guidance? From a halfling?
I mean, yes. I wanted to ask about learning a few new spells before the next dungeon.
The Templar grunted, stepping closer. His boots echoed on marble.
Aris, I am the one you should come to. Your human faculty teacher, remember?
I know, sir. I just,
Because I'm harsh?
Rathvoss's tone was unreadable, somewhere between threatening and amused. Aris hesitated.
Maybe a little.
The middle-aged man chuckled darkly.
Good. Means I'm doing my job. Being soft gets you dead in this world. Now what spells are you sniffing around for?
He motioned toward the empty sparring grounds beyond the archway. Aris scratched his neck, organizing his thoughts.
Well, something easy to master first. Something I can use to distract or sustain myself until I can manage stronger ones.
Rathvoss folded his arms, muscles bulging under his armor.
And?
Aris took a breath.
Solar Flare for blinding and confusing opponents, and Radiant Thread to drain them, keep pressure on.
For a moment, Rathvoss said nothing. His scarred face was unreadable. Then it broke into a faint smirk.
Huh. Not bad choices. Weak spells, yes, but clever for your level. Most novices waste years chasing flashy nonsense.
Aris nodded awkwardly, unsure if that was praise or insult.
Why don't you go a little elemental like your peers, to attack puzzles and such? Those can be foundation for next-tier elementals. Don't you want to rain down meteors?
Aris winced, but managed a smile.
Maybe later, sir? I just want to master our school's teachings, starting with basics.
Good, but a true Templar favors brute faith. You'll need heavier strikes someday. Still.
Rathvoss's approval was clear now. He drew his sword and placed the tip against the ground, muttering a low chant. A flash of golden light burst outward, forming a dome that flickered and pulsed. Solar Flare. The light seared Aris's eyes, forcing him to blink back tears. The world went white for 3 heartbeats. Then, without pause, Rathvoss snapped his fingers. A thin golden tether shot from his hand to a training dummy across the yard, pulsing with rhythmic light. Radiant Thread.
Like this. Faith is focus. You don't ask light to obey. You command it.
He made another gesture. An invisible hook twisted Aris's stomach, making him gasp and double over.
and this is radiant thread.
Rathvoss releasing him. Before Aris could thank him, his body jolted with twin shocks. Bzzzt, bzzzt. The familiar warmth of learning flooded through him. 2 new patterns engraved into his mind, settling like puzzle pieces clicking into place. Rathvoss gave him a knowing look.
Study these and stop chasing every spark you see. Master what you have.
Yes, sir.
Hiding his grin behind a respectful bow.
Good. Now I expect to see you in the dueling arena tomorrow. Let's see if these new toys make you any less predictable.
Rathvoss stomped off, leaving the air faintly shimmering with holy residue. The smell of ozone and incense lingered. Aris couldn't stop smiling.
Solar Flare and Radiant Thread, 2 new tricks. I'm making a build.
Or you're digging yourself deeper into obsession.
Fox trotted beside him, tail swishing. Aris laughed, the sound lighter than it had been in weeks.
Either way, it's progress. If I add a good tier 3 spell before the dungeon, I'll be on the right track.
The days blurred together after that. Alchemy fumes, duels, exhaustion. A cycle that consumed him. Mornings, Aris sparred in the training yard with Auric. Rathvoss's bark echoed across the grounds, forcing him to push harder, faster. He used Solar Flare to blind opponents, weaving in light missile volleys while channeling Radiant Thread between dodges. The tether pulsed golden as it drained opponents' stamina, but holding it burned through his focus like wildfire through dry grass. Some duels he won spectacularly. Others ended with him coughing blood, his shield cracked and stamina empty. Afternoons he returned to the basement alchemy room. Sleeves rolled up, brewing batches of experimental tonics, blue smoke, the smell of burnt honey root, the shimmer of miscast elixirs. Failures stacked beside successes. He managed to craft new variants, half exploded. The rest made his hands tingle for hours. Evenings he sat cross-legged on a cold stone floor, sketching runes in chalk, trying to merge light missile and solar flare. He imagined them as opposite poles of light, precision and burst, 2 halves of divine will. When he tried to fuse them, the room would fill with unstable orbs that fizzled into sparks. Fox often watched from the rafters, unimpressed.
One day, you'll blow us both to heaven.
Aris barely looked up, hands moving through gestures he'd practiced 1,000 times.
Then at least I'll die enlightened.
After 7 days of grueling repetition, the Academy dueling boards posted updated standings. Aris pushed through the crowd to read them, heart-pounding. Aris or Velis. 25 matches, 7 wins, 5 draws, 13 losses. Rank 51, 26 points. He stared at the numbers carved into the wooden board, biting his lip. Not great, but not terrible. Considering he'd started dead last weeks ago, it was something. He looked at the top of the table. Sliverstone flower. 25 matches, 25 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. Rank 1. 75 points. Kalen Torture. 25 matches, 25 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. Rank 2. 75 points. Auric Rips. 25 matches, 14 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses. Rank 8. 49 points.
If this were a betting board, I'd still lose money on you.
Fox hopped onto the ledge beside him.
Thanks for the support.
I'm just saying you're slowly becoming a half-decent lunatic.
At least Auric is doing good.
Genuine happiness in his voice for his friend. That night under the courtyard lanterns, Aris stood before a row of straw targets. His hands trembled from fatigue, but his eyes burned with focus. The moon hung fat and silver overhead.
Again.
He whispered to himself. He raised his hand. A small orb of light hovered in his palm. Light missile. He willed it brighter, hotter, then triggered solar flare at the same time. The spell destabilized, immediately bursting like a firecracker. Sparks scattered, scorching his sleeve. The smell of burnt fabric filled the air.
Too much at once.
Shaking his stinging hand, he tried again. This time he focused his breathing, summoning both energies. But instead of casting separately, he imagined them sharing the same center, the same core. The light condensed into a sphere shimmering between gold and white. Tiny flares burst from its surface like stars shooting from a sun. The orb pulsed once, twice, then flickered out.
Closer. I just need to hold it longer.
Panting. Sweat dripped down his temples. Fox, perched on a wall, yawned.
Or you could stop before your ham catches fire.
Not yet.
He tried again. The orb reappeared stable for a heartbeat before exploding in a flash that rattled nearby windows. Glass trembled in frames. Aris blinked through the haze, his hair singed and eyebrows half gone. Soot streaked his face.
Congratulations, you're officially glowing.
Fox snickered. Aris smiled weakly, touching his burnt hair.
I'll take it.
He looked up at the cracked courtyard tiles and the faint scorch marks tracing circles around him. Somewhere in that chaotic energy was something real, something waiting to take shape. He could feel it just beyond his grasp. Tomorrow he'd try again. Chapter 84. Building the Future. Legends of the Frozen Gamebook 2 Act 3. Date 33480. Second quarter. Iron Confederacy, Safe Hollow. Morning light crept through the patched curtains of Demir's hut, glinting off the steel pommel of Wolf's Vow resting beside his bedroll. The sword gleamed faintly, almost as if it was alive. It reflected the soft crackle of the nearby forge's dying embers. Demir stretched, rubbed his sore arms, and grumbled.
Feels like I wrestled a Cena all night.
He washed his face with cold basin water, the shock bringing him fully awake, strapped on his belt. Today's the day, he thought. Time to stop being just the guy who swings a hammer and start being the guy who builds something worth defending. Marco pushed open the door without knocking, grinning.
Good, beautiful day in Safe Hollow, isn't it?
Is that the official name of the town?
Well, Cell calls it that.
Cell. Really? Oh my, what happened when I was gone?
Demir's eyebrows shot up. Marco's ears turned red.
Shut up. I'm married in another universe.
Sure.
Demir laughed. When he stepped outside, Safe Hollow was waking up. Still half mud, half miracle. Smoke curled from makeshift chimneys. Children carried buckets of water from the well. Hunters dragged haunches of meat toward the cookfires. The settlement was growing raw but determined. Demir made his way to the headquarters, a repurposed barn with a stitched-together banner fluttering over it. The fabric was patched from old clothes and torn tents. He knocked twice and stepped inside. Thalia was at a desk covered in parchment eyes, shadowed with sleeplessness. Her usually neat hair was coming loose from its braid. Across from her, Roderick sat in a chair, chest wrapped in fresh bandages. His once steady hands trembled slightly as he tried to lift a cup of tea.
Roderick, you look better. You look better.
Genuine concern in his voice. The old soldier chuckled hoarsely.
Better? I can barely raise a mug, but I'm alive thanks to your sword arm.
Thalia glanced up, relief washing over her tired features.
Demir, I heard you were back. I am glad you are alive.
I have news, and, something bigger than news, I need to speak to everyone, not just the council, everyone who calls this place home.
Stepping forward, his boots left mud prints on the wooden floor. Roderick frowned, setting down his cup with shaking hands.
All 200 of them? Yes, every last one.
An hour later, a crowd formed in the open square. A ring of wooden houses, stone foundations, and a single forge puffing lazy smoke. The wind carried the scent of roasting meat and iron dust. People clustered together, whispering. Miners with coal-stained hands, mages in tattered robes, hunters with bows across their backs. Demir stood on a crate in front of them. Wolf's Vow in one hand, his wyvern scale shield strapped to the other. His voice carried over the murmuring crowd.
Everyone, I know what you've all been feeling these last few years. We came here for fun, for skills, for danger-free excitement. We used to level up by grinding or following practice builds. But now...
He paused, breath visible in the morning chill.
Now, the system's changed.
One person shouted from the back.
No, it's closed.
No, it's changed. I had a theory, but now I'm sure.
He held up his sword, letting the light catch its blade. The orichalcum gleamed with inner fire.
You've all seen it, haven't you? That flash, that flicker like lightning in your head for just a second. When you're focused or desperate. That's not a glitch. That's the world telling you something.
People nodded. Miners, mages, hunters. They'd all felt it. The whispered agreement rippled through the crowd.
That is how this world works now. The old leveling system's gone. The game isn't feeding us skills anymore. We earn them by being the thing, by living it. Swing your sword enough, you'll gain the instincts of a fighter. Brew enough potions, you'll become an alchemist. Build. Fail. Try again. That's how you gain your titles.
He paced on the crate, gesturing. He lifted the shield next scales, catching sunlight in rainbow patterns.
I made these with my own hands, and I couldn't have done it without masters showing me the way. So I'm telling you this, find your mentors, teach each other, learn by doing. You can all forge Heel Hunt cast. You just don't have the buttons anymore.
The crowd was silent, but the air buzzed with something electric. Hope. Then murmurs began spreading. Hope mixed with disbelief, laughter from some corners. Thalia stepped closer, her mage staff clicking on stone.
Demir, you're saying anyone can gain these titles.
Exactly. Anyone who's willing to bleed for them.
He, meeting her eyes. He looked out across the settlers, people who'd once been players, farmers, soldiers.
We've lost the comfort of systems, but we've gained something better. Freedom to shape ourselves.
Then he grinned, raising his sword high.
Also, anyone with iron or steel, bring it to me. I'll forge weapons, armor, tools, whatever you need. Payment, just patience.
Laughter rippled through the crowd, releasing tension.
And one last thing. If you see a giant wolf about this tall,
he gestured with his hand far above his head.
Don't panic. Her name's Asina. She's complicated. Think of her as the settlement's very grumpy protector.
The laughter grew louder, more genuine. Someone in the back shouted,
You sure you're not the one being tamed?
Demir smirked.
I'm working on that.
The speech ended in cheers and clapping. It wasn't polished, but it was honest. Mathis and Thalia approached afterward, peppering him with questions. How the flashes worked, whether crafting titles could overlap. Before Demir could answer everything, Marvin appeared, bow slung across her back and a teasing smile on her lips.
Quite the speech hero. You can't make bows, can you?
Voice pitched to carry just enough. Demir laughed.
Not yet. Why, you want one?
If you can make one like your sword.
If we can find the right ingredients. But first, I may need your help.
Anything for you.
She looked sideways, provocatively, green eyes sparkling. Demir gulped and blushed, heat rising to his cheeks.
You are one of the hunters of the settlement. You know almost everything about the forest nearby, right?
Like the back of my hand.
Okay, show me the weakest animals.
Her grin widened.
Oh, this! I have to see.
They set out into the forest that afternoon. Marvin moved like a shadow between the trees, footsteps silent on moss and leaves. Demir clanked after her like a one-man band armor, creaking with every step.
Step lighter. You're scaring everything from here to the next kingdom.
She hissed, crouching behind a fallen log.
I'm trying. Not everyone was born a sneaky elf wannabe.
Attempting to tiptoe in full gear. Marvin stifled a laugh as a squirrel darted across their path, bushy tail flicking.
There! That's your target. Go on, mighty beast tamer.
Demir crouched, hands out like he was approaching a holy relic. Moving slowly, very slowly.
Easy now, little guy. Hey, come back.
The squirrel vanished up a tree in seconds. Marvin was doubled over, laughing, clutching her sides.
Oh, this is gold! The slayer of goblins defeated by a squirrel.
Demir sighed, brushing bark from his gloves.
Maybe rabbits?
They spent the afternoon like that. Demir trying to tame anything that moved, from squirrels to birds. Each attempt ended in mild disaster. A bird stole his hair tie and flew away with it. A rabbit bit him hard enough to draw blood. And at one point he tripped face first into a bush full of thorns. Marvin was nearly crying from laughter, wiping tears from her eyes.
You're not taming. You're filming a comedy show.
Laugh it up. You're selling the same joke Carter did. I'll have the last laugh when I'm riding into battle on a squirrel steed.
Pulling thorns from his cheek one by one. When they returned to Safe Hollow at dusk, the smell of cooked meat filled the air. Smoke rose from multiple cook fires. Asina appeared at the edge of the woods, tail flicking, golden eyes gleaming in twilight.
And here comes your jealous girlfriend.
Marvin whistled low. Asina growled, the sound vibrating through the ground.
Don't provoke her. Last time she shoved me into a river.
I remember.
Marvin was still grinning. That night became a rhythm that stretched into days. Demir forging weapons and armor by morning, training by afternoon, and testing his patience with Asena by evening. Sometimes Asena brought back her own gifts. a deer carcass dumped proudly at his feet, or once an entire tree she'd uprooted trying to chase a bear. The trunk was still smoking.
Stop showing off,
Demir muttered as she dropped a massive stag beside his tent. The animal must have weighed 300 pounds. Asina huffed, clearly unimpressed with his smaller hauls. Marvin called from the forge, laughing.
You know, for a spirit of the woods, she's got a petty streak.
Don't encourage her.
By the third week, Safe Hollow was alive with purpose. The forge blazed day and night. Hunters swapped tips with miners on crafting traps. Mages experimented with alchemical brews using old notes and new ingredients. Demir moved among them giving advice, checking metals, sometimes laughing when a novice's creation exploded into smoke and sparks. He even started naming his forge apprentices, half seriously, half mockingly.
All right, Arlo, you're hammer dropper now. Don't hit the anvil like it owes you money.
Yes, Master Demir,
came the chorus of laughter from the forge. Late one evening, Demir stood at the forest edge again. Watching Asina's glowing eyes reflect the moonlight, he tossed her a chunk of meat, watching it arc through the air.
I'm on to you. You're not protecting me. You're just making sure I don't embarrass you again.
Asina snorted and trotted ahead into the darkness. Demir sighed, then started walking beside her. The forest was peaceful at night. Crickets sang. Leaves rustled. Before long, it turned into another silent contest. Demir jogging. Asina trotting faster. Demir running. Asina darting ahead and waiting, tail flicking mockingly.
Fine, you win, again.
He panted, hands on knees. Asina growled softly, almost amused. She bumped him gently with her head, a push that turned a little too strong. Demir yelped, lost his balance, and tumbled down the small grassy slope into a puddle. Cold water splashed everywhere. When he looked up, sputtering, Asina was looming over him, tongue lolling in a wolfish grin.
Yeah. You win every time, don't you?
Wiping mud from his face, Asina gave a satisfied huff and padded away toward the ridge, disappearing into shadow. Demir sat there for a moment, laughing quietly to himself. Then it came. That familiar sensation. Bzzzt. The interference washed over him. Brief, but unmistakable. He'd gained something. Not a level, but something. He smiled, pushing himself to his feet. Covered in mud and exhausted. But somehow, for the first time in years, he felt like he was building towards something real. Tomorrow he'd forge more, train more, maybe even convince a rabbit not to bite him. But tonight, sitting in mud with his impossible wolf companion, watching from the trees, Demir Strovan was exactly where he needed to be.